Mm-hmm. All right, give me a second here. All right. Well, we here today, YouTube, conversations, topics.
Yes, sir.
I'm here all the way in Chicago, man.
Hey.
You know, Content creations at its finest over there, and we're here joined by my friend Pat, the designer from the Windy City Breeze podcast platform on YouTube. My brother, how's it going?
Man, living the dream, my boy, living the dream. I'm out here trying to avoid that weather that y'all got out there. You know what I'm saying? Trying to push winter off as far as possible, but enjoying life as always, man.
I feel you. But you know what? We're here to create. So it doesn't matter if it's rain, sunshine, snow, sleet, you name it. We're here to talk in our mics and just give the people what they want. You know what I mean? And all that good stuff. Yes, sir. So let's get into you, man. The Windy City Breeze. This, like, how did you manifest, create this thing for yourself, my man?
Um, I mean, you want to start from the beginning with it?
We got some time. Let's get into it.
Hey, I mean, it was just something, as a sports fan, I always grew up listening to sports talk radio with my pops. I always grew up listening to him just argue about sports and stuff like that. And so because of that, I always had that mind of, talking sports, debating sports, the thing that we always did at every family function. Everybody else, they sitting there arguing about who looked like grandma and all that stuff, and we was arguing about why the Bulls still suck, why is John Paxson in charge, why the Bears can't find a quarterback. Why that was everyday life for us. So it actually started with me and my little brother. I want to say like 4 years ago, and we just was in the basement chopping it up, and I was like, man, we could do this for a show. He said, let's do it. Me and my guy got together. My guy, shout out Jarrell Gates, man. He's the one that kind of put us on with all that original camera work and stuff like that, and kind of set us moving in the right direction. And man, we just started putting stuff out, and it did awful. Like, I mean, I mean, how in your mind you put stuff out and you like, man, this finna hit, dog. We talking about big news, man, with the Bulls. We looking crazy. We had an elaborate background, man. I mean, that mug did like 30 views, man. You know what I'm saying? But we was hype about it. We was like, man, we got 30 people to watch. So from there, it just it for me, growing up, I always played music. I always wanted to be an artist. I wanted to do, but I got sick of being in studios with a lot of weed smoke in my face. So this kind of replaced that need to create for me. And man, since then, I mean, we've grown it exponentially. We've added people to the show. We've added assets to the show, and it's really turned into something that's bigger than I thought it would have been. When I started this thing 4 years ago.
You know what I love about you is the self development, the entrepreneurship. I've been watching you from this side of the border. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got some connects over there in Chicago. Friends of mine going to school, things like that, doing what they need to do. So it's good to see independent content creation at its finest, and you covering the Bulls, the Bears you speak of, and things like that. So
Yeah.
let's get into it. Let's wake it up a little bit before we get more deep into your story.
Yeah.
What's your take on the Bulls and the Bears this year? What are we thinking? What are we gonna see happen?
I mean, the Bulls are a team that's built, and I know a lot of people from the outside after last night's game. When you say this is gonna drop, so they'll probably have played another game by the time this drop. After they just
Absolutely, yeah.
played the Warriors. I know it's a lot of people that are like, what are you talking about with this take? But no, the Bulls are built to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what AK and Mark Eversley put in place. They put a lot of money into this payroll. Will they accomplish that goal? That's on the players. That's on the team that's on the floor. But for the first time since Jordan, um, a team has been put on the floor where it's 100% on the players to take them where they want to go. The talent is there. The roster is there. Are there some small pieces you might need to add to improve your roster? Yeah, every team at this point that's not a lock for the NBA Finals needs that. I mean, listen, we just got whipped by Golden State last night, and they still missing Klay Thompson.
Hmm.
So there's something, but the Bulls team, AK is envisioning. He's not envisioning anything short of a run for a championship this season, at a minimum Eastern Conference Finals. And he showed that to you by how he put this team together, by how much he put into this team. My Bears is a different topic altogether. That is that is one of those where I believe that for the first time in our franchise's history, we have found a franchise quarterback, but it's also coinciding with a time where your defense is trending towards a direction that's going to be at its worst, and where your head coach isn't competent enough to put him in a position to be successful. Hopefully, the Bears can figure those two things out in this coming offseason as they go through the rest of this year. But I mean, my Bears are like as much excitement as I get from my Bulls every Sunday, my heart is taken out of my chest because my Bears just rip it out. You know what I'm saying? Like I love my team. I as y'all can tell, like yeah, I don't know if they can see the corners, but it's a giant bear head over there, it's a giant bull head over here. We retired Joakim Noah's jersey in the rafters out here, you know, for Joakim Noah night. Like it gets real over here. I got a bull on my chest, right? Yeah, you know it gets real over here.
I love that. I love that. So between those two sports teams, who's that one dude besides Michael Jordan, maybe Brian Urlacher, that you would love to sit down and have that conversation with? Because I feel like those are two Chicago legends. You know what I mean? In my eyes and in my book and things like that.
Just if I was gonna say out of those two sports teams, who's the one legend I would love to sit down with? To me, for the Bears, I'm gonna be honest with you. As far as legendary, as far as top successes, yeah, Brian Urlacher. I would love Lance Briggs, and I would love Peanut Tillman. I would absolutely love Peanut Tillman on the Bears side because to me, Peanut Tillman created something that is talked about today, and it's mind blowing to me that people look at him and say he's not a lock for the Hall of Fame. He created a move that is still in the NFL today. That anytime you see somebody punch a football out, oh, there's the peanut punch. There's the like, and it literally was just because like he created opportunity to me for smaller cornerbacks to do what they do. Because if you hear him tell his story, he talks about how he tried to lay a big boom on somebody and dislocated his shoulder. Then he tried it again when he got to the NFL and he dislocated his shoulder. He was like, you know what? It's not working. We got to come up with something different. And so he ended up coming up with the peanut punch. So for me, it would be Peanut Tillman for the Bears side, probably out of anybody. And then on the Bulls side, Joakim Noah. Y'all see I got the jersey in the rafters. Joakim Noah is just such an interesting story because you never thought of him as the number one on any of those Bulls teams, but you always knew that he was absolutely the leader when they were on the court, when they were fighting. And those were the Bulls of my childhood. I mean, of course, you know, you talk right now, Pippen would be a great one with all the stuff he got going on. You know what I'm saying? Scottie Pippen would be an excellent one with everything he's got going on. But to me, yeah, no, I would be more intrigued to talk to Joakim just to see, you know, like the stories of success are amazing, but the stories of missing success to me build the character that you see go further in life. You know what I'm saying? Like Joakim, because he's like it still eats at him. So you know it drives him to do other things twice as hard. Like that to me is always an interesting topic to delve into.
I love that. You talk about the elephant in the room is Scottie Pippen. So here's my question to you. If Jordan didn't have Pippen, how many rings do you think Jordan would have won, Loki? Straight up. And what championships do you think he wins?
If Jordan didn't have Pippen, how many championships would Jordan have won? It's tough for me to say because like Muggs want to discredit Mike. Like to take championships away from Mike without Scotty, one would be like, you know, you don't want to discredit Scotty on one side, but it's tough to put a number on it because Scotty did so much. But at the same time, there were a lot of times where Scotty was injured due to the back injury. There was a lot of times where Mike was just being Mike. You know what I'm saying? Now, on the defensive side, the fact that he had that second defender, you got to ask yourself who they replace him with. I'm still giving Mike, and I got to think about the championships. He was still win, to me, both of the ones in Utah. He still beats Barkley. He might not beat Magic. because a lot of people discredit, the impact Pip had on that. Pip was averaging 17 points a game at a time where what Muzz don't understand is you look at these numbers and they don't adjust their brain. You know what I'm saying? Muzz, everybody's averaging 25, 26 points a game in the league. Scrubs are averaging 20. Mm. This is in an NBA where Muggs at most were putting up 102 points a game. And you were a high-scoring team if you were putting up 102 points a game. Games were ending 75 to 80 back in the day. So 17 points was a lot. So you might lose to Magic. Who's after? Who was after Magic? Magic. Why am I blank? Oh, Clyde. You probably still beat Portland.
Yeah.
You probably still beat Portland. And then the Supersonics is tough. Supersonics is tough. I would say this. I'm going to give them 5. I'm going to say you still get 5, but it would have been the only series that Jordan would have went to 7. 5 out of 6 without Pippen. 5 out of 6 without Pippen. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, how much of an impact is Scottie Pippen made? I need y'all to understand something. I'm assuming that Jerry Krause is going to go out and find another guy that can be a clamp. I'm assuming a lot when I make that assumption. You know what I'm saying? Like Scottie Pippen is that dude. And I think he don't know how much Chicago love him. I think that's the problem. Everybody's like, I think he thinks we want him to be Michael Jordan. It's I like Steph, but I also like Clay. I can like both of y'all at the same time, dog. It's okay. I think Scottie just need a hug.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. And he's rebelling a little bit, you know what I mean? Because of The Last Dance and whatnot. And I remember sitting there watching The Last Dance, and I had the leaked copy, you know what I mean? And I was ahead by a lot of people, and people were like, "Oh my God, don't give me no spoilers." When we think back at that Last Dance, though, let me ask you this question: what was, you think, the most pivotal moment of that 10-part documentary for you?
The most pivotal moment of it was probably seeing how much Mike actually had to go through when he was on the road without social media, and then the first question came to my mind was, man, would he really be able to move how he wanted, do the things he wanted with all of the social media? I mean, we talk about social media and all that. Mike was the most publicized person in the world without it. Could you imagine if he had Twitter? Could you imagine Mike on Twitter? Mike. This is the thing. Mike must be Mike wouldn't have been on Twitter. Mike absolutely would have been on Twitter. It's a tactic. It's a mental tactic. I'm tweeting you before the game. I'm finna drop 60 tonight, right? I'm finna drop 40 on you tonight, right? It's a mental game. To me, it's Mike would have been that dude on Twitter that a lot of the role players are, but he would have been the star. It'd have been hey man, I'm gonna drop 60 on you, and there's nothing you could do about it. I'm telling you right now. And then he'd be mad after the game that he dropped 58 on you. He'd be like, dog, I'm gonna get you next time though. I'm gonna get you next time. Don't you wait. So it's wild to see just kind of how much was going on around him, to the point that he just didn't leave a hotel at all. That to me was crazy, and I mean, we knew going into it. I was like, it's a documentary produced by Michael Jordan. That's about to be a 10-part Michael Jordan documentary. I'm still cool with that though.
Yeah, of course. Michael's the greatest. You know what I mean? One of the best athletes in our generation, at least top 5.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And Tom Brady right behind him. I just had to say that real quick.
Hey, TB, I've my GOAT, we've kind of changed how we talk about the GOAT on our show, because we just changed the letters up. GOTE, greatest of the era, because basketball's changed so much. I can't, I'm saying, the amount of threes that Steph Curry takes in a season, Reggie Miller didn't take in 10 years. That's crazy when you you know what I'm saying? It's wild to look at how the game has changed so consistently. So I always differentiate how I talk about GOAT in the NBA, but in the NFL, listen, football is football. We the Bears fight song is talk about the T formation. That's talk about a quarterback. And Tom Brady is absolutely the greatest quarterback to do it. You can say scheme, you can say whatever you want. Tom Brady is the GOAT.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. So true. So going back to you and this creation you did for yourself, what was one of the biggest hiccups you faced? I feel like you alluded to it a little bit when you talked about doing the recording and things like that. You're on
Yeah.
YouTube, you're getting this least amount of views and things like that. But let's beyond that, let's expand a little bit more. Where do you think was some of the biggest hiccups for you?
Oh man. Myself. The
Mm,
biggest thing for me was it was so I was doing it at a time where I was also working. Um so I was working as a electrician apprentice at the time, and just didn't have the work ethic to achieve the dreams that as big as I had set them. Um I would record when we could. I would, come into the studio. I was trying to set it scheduled. I was trying to be dedicated to it, but it's tough to do when you've got two other people's lives also wrapped up in it. And my guy, our producer at the time, Joe, he had just had his first child, so he's managing that. And then we only getting 30, 40 views. I mean, we were doing shows in 4K at that time. Like, it was a lot of editing. It was a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot that went into it. And then the first studio we had ended up, it was in his basement. He had ended up having a huge flood. It ruined a lot of the stuff that we had set up down there. And, we had to get all that together. And I mean, honestly, like, the show kind of stopped, I want to say, for almost a
hmm
year.
Okay.
I was still posting, I was still doing stuff, but it wasn't that we couldn't rebuild the studio. It wasn't that we couldn't rebuild the mics. I didn't have the work ethic to go to work and come home and do this. And honestly, like, I ended up talking with one of my foremans one day, because the thing is too, I just didn't have the work ethic. Yeah, you know how people
hmm
do, you doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a hobby. You enjoy it. It's fun, but at the same time, like, I'm not gonna let this consume my life. But you have dreams in your head. Like I tell Muzz that want to be a rapper. It's like, all right, listen, you want to be a rapper? That's great. Put out a song every week. Put out a song every 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You have to make sure that you're in people's face, and it's the same thing with YouTube. Like, when we're doing this content creation, when we're on this journey, you have to be in people's faces consistently, or they will forget
Yep.
about you. The biggest thing is, you're not that important. You think you are, but until somebody lets you know how unimportant you are into their lives. So, it was. I had a foreman sit me down, and he said, "Listen, um, I want you to understand this. I understand what you're trying to do with YouTube." And at this point, I think I had maybe 200 subscribers. He said, "I
hmm
understand what you want to do. I understand what you're trying to do. But right now, you have a job that's paying you good money to sit here and work. When you're here, I need you to work. When you're here, I need you to strive for it. I love that you're dreaming outside of this, but I need you to work hard here." And something clicked at that point that, well, if you're not willing to work hard at the job that's paying you, at this time I might have been making $25 an hour as an apprentice.
hmm
If I wasn't willing to work hard for guaranteed money every week on a Friday, how was I going to work for something that I have to work probably twice to three times as hard, not as backbreaking, but just putting into it to make a quarter of that money? And so it's like something switched at that moment, man. And we went out there. I started trying to give it a lot at work, trying to put everything I had into it. They started noticing that. But then I realized it was changing the mindset that I had with the show. And it was at that point, like, sometimes you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and just be like, man, I'm lazy, dog. Like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I think a lot of content creators are, and that's why we want to do this, because this is I can sit down in my room, talk to nobody, get in front of a camera, I mean, not talk to nobody, but get in front of a camera, have all my opinions out there, all the crazy stuff that's going on in my head. And then after that, guess what I can do? I can go upstairs and make me a bowl of cereal and call it a day. Like
Talk about it.
that's a,
Talk about it, man.
you know what I'm saying? That's I think a lot of content creators feel that same way. And so to me, like I look at it, but I saw my work ethic changing. Like I wasn't lazy anymore. Like are there still moments when I'm lazy? Yeah, I might not want to do the dishes every day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like to let them pile up. You get to them when you get to them. You know what I'm saying? But long as it ain't coming out the sink, you know what I mean? Long as it ain't coming out the sink, you good. But no, like it just, you know, at that point, then I realized, okay, if you want to do this, you got to change how you do this. And I switched up my whole recording schedule. I switched up the consistency of the videos. I switched up, you know, who was on the show, when they were on the show. Because when you first start, and you're like, oh, just come on, man. I just need somebody to talk to. Then at a certain point, you realize, no, they want to hear you. You want to talk. They want to talk with you. So now it changed everything at that moment. Like I remember sitting in the trailer when he broke it down to me. And basically, in so many words, he just was like, nobody cares about you and you're very replaceable. And he was just talking about me at the job.
Shit.
But it flipped something with me with everything that I do. And then, you know, it was something just from there. It just got so consistent. And I realized, like, I mean, I switched from recording whenever to I'm a record. I used to wake up before I started work at 6. I would wake up at 4, record a video, try to edit it before work so that it could be posted and rendered, all that. But a lot of times that didn't work out. So I'd edit it at work on my lunch break, post it over like trash phone hotspot. They still haven't invented a hotspot that's actually worth anything. That's on the phone. And just like upload it all, drop the video, do everything that I had to do with it. And then you still got to be commenting throughout the day while trying not to get caught by the boss and keep working. You know, like, so it was,
man,
it was a lot.
You say so many things that resonate with me because it's like me being 5 years in podcasting and then making this crossover to come to this platform. I know that it takes work.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you have the actual the catalog already, you can bring it over slowly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what sticks out for me is the flood, because I went through that also too. And I lost some equipment, lost a mic, lost my soundboard. You know what I mean? I was upset. Like, I mean, Pat, I was pissed off. Bro.
Oh yeah. You start flipping stuff.
Tears, bro. On some realness. And I said, I worked so hard to get this far. And in that moment, when you get that moment of realization, bam, snapping my fingers, I said, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I had something just birthed in me and said, yo, come over to the YouTube side and see what you can do. And I feel like it's slowly, just opening this channel slowly. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I've arrived. I see people rocking with you. It's going to be a transition. I said a declaration to myself. I said, I want 1,000 subscribers by March, by my birthday, March 6th. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now people are going to say is, oh, you ain't going to do that. All right. You doubt me, you'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That doubt's going to be that fuel. I'm the vehicle. All vehicles need fuel. Absolutely. They need that gas. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely. So when you put your pedal to the metal, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to excel. You're going to hit that highway and you can keep on going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's really what it is. Cause I mean, like, even like, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, we just crossed 10,000 subs. I mean, the numbers are never what they are. And yesterday I went back and I watched some of our earliest videos just to remind, like, don't take one person pressing subscribe for granted. That's what this journey has taught me. Like, you know, of course I want 10. Of course I want, you know, 100,000. Of course I want 1 million subscribers, but I don't take 10,001, 10,002, 10,003 for granted. The same way I think early on I did. I want to say my first 100, I kind of took them for granted. I would post stuff, wouldn't respond to comments, like trying to act like what you see big YouTubers do. And then you got to realize, like, you not. You're not that guy. What's that little TikTok thing? You're not that dude. Like once you realize that, like it's so, I'm so humbled and appreciated by anybody that pushes subscribe to me. And the tough part for me is that I value it so much that, like, when I see that number go down, it's like, man, did I say something that they didn't like? Did I say something they disagree with? Did I say, and not even that I'm gonna change what I say, not even that I'm gonna change how I worded it. I'm unapologetically me, but it sucks because it's like, man, I did something, or something with the show changed that they didn't rock with, and they let, like it's really, there's really a value for every single person that hits that subscribe button, because that's the subscribe on YouTube. I mean, on some stuff, on like funny videos and stuff like that, like that's me, that's saying, hey, I want to keep seeing these funny videos.
Yep.
But I sit in front of a camera just like this, and I sit there and tell you why the Bears are going to do something, why the Bears aren't going to do something, and you either agree with it or you don't. You either hit that like button or you don't. But for you to go not only hit the like button, comment on the video, but then to subscribe to the page is so meaningful. And really, on the Breeze side, we built a real family with it, man. We just had our first live event, and meeting people face to face was just like, what's good, man? They like, I've been rocking with you since 50 subscribers, bro. Like, we had, who was it? Samurai J was out there. Shout out to her, man. She showed out for us, man, and pulled up, and it was just like, man, like, y'all are people. Like in our mind, you know, it's a number. It's a good number going up. Oh, I've got 10,000. Those are 10,000 people.
Yeah.
If it's your podcast, no matter what it is, those are people that are choosing to let you into their life every day. That's so dope to me, dog.
I love it. I love seeing it, man. You know what I mean? You mentioned about some of the guys in this space, you know, the Lucas of the world, you of the world. And I'm so humble that I can hold you guys on this platform. You see what I'm saying? Because they gonna get the audio, you're gonna get the video, and that's just how it is. You know what I mean? Because this is what I always speak about, is collaboration. And I get in these conversations all the time. So many people, they look at you weird because they see you talking in a mic, like you mentioned, by yourself. You know what I mean? I do a more interview style, and I do my solo episodes. And I know my solo episodes are what people want to hear a lot of the times. They don't mind the interviews, but they want to hear you. They're like, yo, let me connect to Rory. Rory's that guy. But it's that anybody that likes, they mention, they comment, they do whatever on our social media. It's so rewarding.
Yes.
And I always tell a lot of people, never let this space get to your head, because you giveth and it can be taken away. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? By a click of the button, by something that like you mentioned, you could have said something that offended somebody, and then your subscriber list dropped down. Yeah. People want to be out here and they want to cancel culture you, but I say cancel culture is not real. Is this fake outrage? That's what they do. You know what I mean? Is this fake outrage?
What I've noticed with cancel culture is, if you lay low long enough, eventually people will just be like, oh yeah, that person's still cool. Like there's a lot of like we have a mob mentality in the world today. And like, you know, the Baby just dropped an album, and I saw all over Facebook and Twitter and all of that, like, man, did y'all like the Baby album? Did y'all like, are y'all rocking with this? And I was just like, man, we back to just talking about his music again, huh? Like, there was a lot of outrage on what he said. There was a lot of, we want to attack this person. We want to get into this person. But we cool again, huh? Like that, I didn't see a switch. You know what I'm saying? With Dave Chappelle, what's going on with Dave Chappelle? It's a lot of outrage for what Dave Chappelle said. And Dave just like, all right, y'all gonna keep watching these shows and buying these tickets because you want to be outraged. So have at it. It's just so weird to me, dog.
You know, I always say is you got to bounce back. You got to know how to bounce back from it. You know what I mean? Even if you don't get the numbers that you need to get, you got to bounce back. You find a way. You do it. You know what I mean? By any means necessary. No excuses. I always say adjustments only. You know?
Facts.
What's that one thing you would tell your younger self currently in the spot that you are, of just how to overcome adversity and become even more resilient than you are? Because like I say, I tuned in last night when Steph and them boys, you kind of disappeared on me a little bit.
You see me? You got me?
You know what? It's all good. It records in the background. Why am I tripping? I'll edit all this out. I tuned in a little bit last night when you were the Bulls were playing the Warriors, and
Yeah.
the Warriors are my second favorite team. And prelude to the question, you know what I mean? I'm watching your organic ability, you and your friend there, and I'm just like, this guy's got something, you know what I mean? So I'm manifesting the reality to you, man. I want to see you shoot up 20K subscribers to
I
50K
appreciate it.
subscribers to 100K subscribers. Cause I know you can do it, man. You have
Yeah.
it. You found your niche. You found your home. You know what I mean? You found your calling.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's the one thing I would tell my younger self. Study Kobe Bryant more.
Why is that?
When Kobe retired, when I started this, Kobe was in his last year in the league, I believe. And when Kobe retired, I was, everybody's a Kobe. You either a Kobe fan or a Kobe hater. I was that weird person that was in the middle. That was I hated him because he always beat my team, but I admired him as a basketball player. He was crazy good. But I wasn't a fan of Kobe until Kobe retired. And when I saw what Kobe Bryant did when he retired and how his work ethic went into things outside of basketball, because of course in basketball you think like it's his job. He's supposed to work hard at it. But then you see him working that same way with his hobbies. You see him working that same way with writing, with producing, with with teaching his daughters how to play the game, with teaching younger hoopers how to play the game. You see that mentality still in there. And when I started seeing Kobe Bryant, the man, it made me dig deeper into what he did to get to that kind of mentality. And by digging deeper into that, it made me dig deeper into so many different things. Like he was kind of that not the gator, not, you know what I'm saying, but he was that person that I looked at, and it's weird to say with somebody in Chicago, but like Michael Jordan, but he was the one that I identified with, where he's doing this in everything. This is not a basketball thing. This mamba mentality that he's come up with is not a basketball thing. This is a life thing. And from that, I looked at it and I said, okay, how do I get that? How do I work harder for that? How do I do that? And when I did that, when I started digging deeper into Kobe, I started looking at the people that are in spaces that I enjoy that are making it, doing well. All of a sudden now I'm reading 50 Cent's book. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm an Audible guy. I love books, but sitting down and reading a book, I'll be sleeping 15 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, but I can sit there, I can be running or doing something, have an Audible going, I can listen all day. So it made me dig into 50 Cent's book, made me dig into Damon John's book, made me dig into, not Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans probably got a book, it might be good. Maybe start looking into different things to make me work harder. And young me just did not work hard enough. I didn't have the drive. I didn't have the mentality for it. And I mean, there's a lot of, I look at the rest of the NBA back then, look at the rest of the NBA now. There's a lot of guys with amazing talent. Like, I feel like I really have a talent for this. Like, doing play-by-play, I didn't even realize I was good at it until, like, people started telling me, like, man, you should be on TV doing this. Like,
you should be.
Like I really like I didn't realize I was good at, I just started doing it because people said, there's people, the Bulls are a global brand. There's people in Australia that don't get to see the games. There's people in New Zealand that don't get to see the games. They come watch us. They come talk with us. They're sitting in the chat. That's why I say at halftime every time, I love to see where everybody's watching from around the world. Where's everybody watching the game from? And they drop in all their locations and stuff like that because, and then they telling me, man, you're really good at this. Like, but that's talent. Talent gets you a long way. But if you don't put that talent with the same work ethic that some of those dudes that are crazy, like in our mind, yo, you crazy. Kobe's crazy for doing that. Like I'm sure everybody's heard the Jay Will story where he's talking about he wanted to outshoot Kobe. And Kobe Bryant saw him and it just, I'm gonna just keep shooting. I'm gonna keep, you know what I'm saying? Like that mentality is different. I wanted to tap in to a piece that I'm gonna be honest with you, I still don't have it. I work hard. I still work as hard as I can, but I still don't have. I haven't achieved that Mamba mentality, whatever it is, that highest level of work ethic, even with as hard as I work at this, because there's always another level. To me, you probably never, I probably never will. There's always another level. That's what people don't understand. And some people stop themselves from getting to that next level because either they're scared to get there or that they're just not ready to get there. A lot of times we try to force things and we're just not ready to get there. I look at it and I say, listen, if I was going to tell my younger self something, look at that, because that changed a lot of things with how I do things right now.
You said so many bars there, bro. You know, and so many people don't realize that it takes reps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like health and fitness. Like, you want to lose that 10 pounds, you got to know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Still ain't got there yet. I still ain't got there.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. That's the one part of Mamba mentality.
But you know what I like about it is that you can actually identify yourself, that you're not there yet. And that's good, because that tells me that you're human. You're not like somebody that's hiding behind these numbers or hiding behind the social media.
Not at all.
We're all human.
Yeah.
We do what we got to do. You know what I mean? We show up and the right people resonate with us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to be like, the world was robbed of its next shifting piece when Kobe passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I mean, it was honestly, he was setting up so much stuff for the WNBA. His daughter, I mean, seeing how she was hooping, of course, you don't want to project out as far as it is, but seeing how she was playing the game, she was going to be a problem. And that name Bryant holds so much weight. He was doing so much with energy drinks. He was doing so much with outside of even the realm of like the sports world, writing, movies. He was doing stuff in therapeutics. He was doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, seeing everything that he had his hand, the world was robbed of a shifting piece when Kobe Bryant passed, man.
But it's in a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Sabrina Inowaskos from the New York Liberty, the Paige Buchers at UConn. You know what I mean? Like,
man, Candace
I'll
Parker.
drop a prediction on this. The Candace Parkers of the world. I'll say this right now. I think Paige Buchers, believe it or not, I don't have no inside source, but I think when she comes to WNBA, she's going to be paired with Sabrina over in New York. You heard it here first.
That'd be nasty.
I just feel like that's the direction it's going to go. And I'm telling people, New York Liberty going to win a championship within like 4 or 5 years. You heard it here first, too.
They got a shot, man. They got a good team over there, man. And I'm going to be real with you. But you know what? Listen, don't sleep on my Sky, man. Don't sleep on them. Like, you know, it's weird because a lot of people look at the Sky and they just like, oh, well, Candace Parker came back. Of course they want to. Nah, man. Them ladies out there, they you know what it is? The WNBA where it is right now is where the NBA was in the 90s. You've got those,
okay.
You've got those players that are, oh my God, great. Your Jordans, Magic Johnsons, Larry Birds, 90s and 80s, you know, Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, John Stockton. You've got those players. Then you got the dudes that, you know, they fit a role. And you got Craig Hodges. You know, it's not bad, but you fit a role on this team. But to me, there's a vast difference right now, like there was in the 90s. Like, there were levels to it. There were, of course, players on that godly level, and then there was some dudes that was on the team that you sitting there looking at and you like, man, I mean, he made the team. Like, I feel like I could compete. Maybe not, but I feel like I could, you know, like, I feel like that's where the WNBA is right now. And that next jump that's going to come for them is going to be ridiculous, because it's just going to be so many people that are at that early 2000s level where it's so many players on every single team where it's like, man, like, who's going to win the championship this year? Like, that to me, like, the WNBA was mad entertaining to me for that reason this year, because you just see so many players coming up that are about to take that next step, and it's on every single team.
That's so true. So true. Well, Pat, let me tell you this, man. This has been a pleasure, and my man, just keep doing your thing, man.
For
I
sure.
love what you got going on that platform. You know what I mean? I could being a content creator and being a fan is a special thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you always got to support us people that are doing what they need to do and keep celebrating them Bulls, man. I'll tell you this. I told a lot of people. I said the Bulls are coming.
Yeah.
Now you said Eastern Conference Final. I
Yeah.
had them at least second round because I feel like they can beat the Brooklyns of the world.
Yeah.
And they're gonna put it all together. They're gonna get where they need to get to.
It could be, man. It definitely could be. I mean, you think about nobody saw Phoenix coming. Nobody saw Milwaukee coming. You know what I'm saying? Like the biggest thing with sports is not about who you play; it's about when you play them. Milwaukee got to an NBA Finals, and it's still deservedly. Like I hate the people to try to discredit them. Oh, everybody was hurt. They still won. They still got jewelry that your team ain't got right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's about when you play them. So it's gonna be at a minimum. I tell Bulls fans this. I tell all basketball fans this. Enjoy the moment. We get so wrapped up in championship or bust now that we can't have fun in the season. It's like, oh, I can't. What am I watching this team for? They're not going to win a championship. It's like, it's your team. Why do you watch sports?
I feel you. For the ones that are going to be listening to this on the podcast in the next couple weeks, YouTube going to be, when it comes out and things like that. Where can everybody check you out? Right? Where can everybody see the podcast, see the video, see the live breakdowns, the live footage, and all that stuff, my man? Where can everybody check you out on social media?
Man, on social media, on everything, I'm at Pat the Designer, all one word. Pat the Designer. It's like a Tribe Called Quest. For anybody that got that reference, shout out to you, man. You're a great person. And then the Windy City Breeze on YouTube, the Windy City Breeze. It's not duh. I know y'all think just because we black, we gotta throw a hood acronym in there. It's the Windy City Breeze. That's not all one word. And yeah, man, we're dropping content constantly, man. We're just now getting to teaching people how to do this. So there's going to be some classes coming up. So check the community tab for that. Man, we got a lot of stuff coming every single week. We talk Chicago sports almost every day. I think the only day we don't drop nothing is on Thursday, and it's because the algorithm hates us on Thursday. So it's so much coming, man. So make sure y'all tune in, man. Like I said, and on my social medias, don't expect Bulls and Bears all the time. Like I be doing stupid TikToks. I be having fun on social media. I use social media for what it's for. I don't care what nobody say. Some of that stuff be funny. Y'all trying to be all I'm an adult. Some of that stuff be funny, man.
Oh Lord, man, I love it, man. Yo, Pat the Designer. Listen, everybody, check him out. The Windy City Breeze podcast, the platform, the YouTube, Pat the Designer. My man, nothing but love for you. Keep on doing your thing, my brother.
Hey, you as well, bro. You as well. Welcome to the YouTube side, man. I'm glad to have you over here, man. You should have been over here.
We will talk about that at a later date.
For sure. Stay safe out there, man.
Yes, sir.